If you don't know about this, it isn't surprising. The corporate powers running our country have been making every effort to keep this under wraps. But maybe you've heard some mention of a trade agreement called TPP, the Trans-Pacific Partnership. Sounds boring. Why should you care? Why? Because it's part of a long-range plan endorsed and pushed by the Obama administration to put the entire global workforce under the thumb of corporations so they can drive down the cost of labor and eliminate any regulation of working conditions around the world. That is where Malaysia, for one, comes in. You see, Malaysia is one of the hubs of the electronics industry, producing parts by employing most of its workers through contracts at poverty or indentured compensation that is tantamount to forced labor. Where does human trafficking come in? Where these contractors hire migrants from neighboring countries trying to escape genocide against Muslims and promise them a better life in Malaysia. Recently, evidence has emerged of mass graves of some of those who died en route to their destination. Apart from being human rights violations, what does any of this have to do with the United States and this latest trade agreement? Well, as it turns out, there are ratings of countries in the world based on their human rights records. The ratings range from 1 to 3, with 3 being the worst. Up until 2 months ago, the rating for Malaysia was 3. Now, this posed a problem for this TPP trade deal because it would eliminate Malaysia from being a member. So how to get around that? That's right, raise the rating and human rights be damned. This should call for a congressional investigation into how the ratings process was conducted and what the evidence is concerning Malaysia's human rights record. This Tuesday, August 4th, while Secretary of State John Kerry was visiting Malaysia, a group of human rights activists assembled outside the Malaysian embassy in New York City.
Just recently in Malaysia, they discovered about 139 bodies in a mass grave. We know that there are dozens of forced labor camps. In fact, some estimates say up to 2 million people are in wage slavery in Malaysia alone. So you have to ask yourself, what good is this deal? And it's important. I always remind everyone when they're at an event like this isn't politics. This isn't an issue that we're protesting. This is our lives, right? This is our time. This is our watch. And in this case, our government, our president, our State Department is rubber stamping some of the worst human rights violations that we can find anywhere on the face of the earth. And I live in Bay Ridge, and the last thing that I would say on this issue is that this isn't an issue about, Southeast Asia. It's also an issue about southern Brooklyn. Because in my community in Bay Ridge and in Dyker Heights, recently there have been human trafficking arrests all around my neighborhood. I think about 13 spas were arrested earlier this year for human trafficking and for forced sex labor. So this is an issue that impacts not just Southeast Asia, not just the country, but literally our city.
We are now witnessing, as a nation, the fallout from hidden, non-transparent negotiations. Malaysia was upgraded regarding their standards and practices on the human rights by the United States in an effort to push this trade agreement through, despite the 139 bodies found in a mass grave, despite what we understand is the inhumane treatment in migrant camps. In view of these realities, both the Obama administration and the United States Congress could be poised to take a terrible step backwards in the struggle for human freedom, in the struggle for the ending of global human trafficking by weakening a key amendment to the Fast Track Trade Authority Bill. Even more shocking are the reports that the State Department is set to compromise its own trafficking in persons report to upgrade Malaysia without merit for narrow economic interests. We have seen the damage done. We are hearing about it in all sectors of our government today. And yet we realize that only the people united are the ones that will never be defeated.
I want to speak on the issue of what is specifically happening to the Rohingya people, because they have no voice and no one is speaking on their behalf. Over 1,000 petitions have been signed and sent to John Kerry. To today, he has not answered any one of those petitions. He has not even acknowledged the receipt of those petitions. Since 1982, the Rohingya Muslim population of Burma, today known as Myanmar, have been denied their rights of citizenship. They have been driven off of the land, placed in concentration camps, their homes destroyed, masjids burnt to the ground, women raped, children driven out. So this displacement of this people have led them to seek shelter in neighboring countries, going to Thailand, going to Malaysia, only to find what? To find that their labor, their resources will be exploited, because no one is speaking and addressing their concerns. No one is giving them a voice. No one is acknowledging their humanity. I today say, as the chairman of the Justice Committee of the Islamic Leadership Council, we condemn TPP as immoral and unjust. It will do to the Southeast Asian community what it has done to Mexico and South America with NAFTA. It would rob them of their economic sovereignty. It will impose upon them rules and regulations. It will drive the people off the land and to force them to seek shelter elsewhere. The United States is not opening this border to receive the people of Rohingya. Malaysia don't want them, it has 200,000 of them, and many of them are denied the right to work, denied education, denied rights of any human being, of rights of self-determination. No one is supporting them against Burma or Myanmar, telling Myanmar, allow the Rohingya people to return to their land. Give them their compensation. Give them a just recourse other than violence. Give them their citizenship. Restore their dignity. Restore their honor. Anything to rob people of their honor, their dignity, and their life is wrong. TPP is wrong. Assalamu alaikum.
The love of money means that money has more weight and more sway than the desire to love humans, to honor humans, who are precious, infinite mysteries, irreducible, invaluable creatures of the mystery of consciousness. To love money more than humans, that is what has been going on, is going on everywhere.
The TPP will intensify human trafficking. It will be more responsible for the intensification of human trafficking. Human trafficking is a $32 billion industry. It's a $32 billion industry, and the U.S. is not only complicit, it is a player in this industry. We know this because in the fight against human trafficking, we are also fighting to hold accountable human traffickers. And that's virtually impossible at this day and age, because when the TPP says, when the U.S. government says that it will cover up, that is tantamount to saying it guaranteeing impunity for human traffickers. It'll be even more difficult. This is a million steps backward in the fight against human trafficking to cover up what's happening in Malaysia. But please don't focus on these bodies. Focus on the bodies of resistance. In the Asia-Pacific region, there are vibrant movements of workers and farmers all across Malaysia and the Philippines and across the region that are laying down their lives literally to stop the TPP. Let's be in solidarity with those bodies as well. So if this is a global fight, it will require northern and southern voices. It will require genuine solidarity. Thank you.
The people united
will never be defeated. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. Ang tao